Good evening. Welcome to the public meeting for State Road 68 Orange Avenue resurfacing project from 32nd Street to west of State Road 5/US 1 in St. Lucie County. We will get started at 6 p.m. At this time, we will allow time for additional attendees to log in and join us. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. On behalf of the Florida Department of Transportation, we would like to welcome you to the public meeting for the State Road 68/Orange Avenue resurfacing project from North 32nd Street to west of State Road 5/US 1. My name is Leslie Wetherell, and I'm the DOT District 4 Project Manager for this project. This public meeting is associated to Financial Management Project number 446169-1-52-01. This was slide 1. Next slide, please. We are now on slide 2. At this time, I will go over this evening's brief agenda as noted on the slide. We'll cover rules of engagement, project overview, project location, proposed improvements/scope of work, project schedule and cost, project design plans, maintenance of traffic, and we'll have questions and answers. Next slide, please. Now I'd like to introduce the project team. With us here this evening, we have again, my name is Leslie Wetherell, and I am the project manager from the Florida Department of Transportation District 4. We also have Brent Li-Shu Ling, who is the design engineer of record from CTS Engineering, and Layla Franzoy, who is the public involvement/moderator, also from CTS Engineering. Lastly, if any elected official has joined us this evening, we ask that you utilize the raised hand feature so that we may acknowledge you. You will also be given an opportunity later in the presentation to address the attendees. Layla, do we have any elected officials on the line?
Thank you, Leslie. At this moment, we do not have any elected officials that joined this meeting.
Great. Thank you, Layla. Next slide, please.
Thank you, Leslie. We are now on slide 4. Here are a few items to be aware of regarding the meeting format. The Florida Department of Transportation is providing multiple opportunities for the public to receive information and provide input. The public meeting is being offered in 2 different formats, virtual and in person. Today is the virtual public meeting, and the in-person meeting will be held tomorrow, Wednesday, January 25th, 2023, at 6 p.m. at the Riverwalk Center, located at 600 North Indian River Drive, Fort Pierce, Florida, 34949. We are now on slide 5. This public information meeting is being recorded. If you experience technical difficulties, please type the issue in the question pane on the control panel to report it, so that a member of our technical support team may assist you. All attendees will remain muted throughout the meeting. To provide a comment during the question and answer session, please use the raise hand button on your GoToWebinar panel. Once your microphone is unmuted, please provide your full name first and then your comment. Your microphone will remain unmuted until the comment has been fully addressed. Attendees are also welcome to submit any questions/comments using the platform's question panel at any time, and a member of the team will respond during the open discussion. We are now on slide 6. For virtual attendees, we are using the GoToWebinar meeting platform for this meeting. There is no cost to the public to log in or dial in to participate in the meeting. On your computer or device screen, you should see something that looks like this in the upper right corner. To listen to the meeting, your computer or device speakers are selected by default. Slide 7. For those who dialed into the meeting on a telephone line and are viewing a hard copy of the slide presentation requested or downloaded before the meeting, the presenter will announce the page number of the slide being shown on the screen. The presentation is available on the project website. We are now on slide 8. To report a technical issue during the meeting, please type the issue in the question box on the GoToWebinar control panel, or you can send an email to ffenelus@ctseinc.com or dial 954-395-2728. We are now on slide 9. Public notice for this public meeting, including information on how to access the meeting platform, was provided in letters to property owners and tenants in the project area, a posting in the Florida Administrative Register, in emails to persons on the project contacts list, on social media feeds, and other notification methods. We are now on slide 10. The Florida Department of Transportation complies with various non-discrimination laws and regulations, including Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Public participation is solicited without regard to race, color, national origin, age, sex, religion, disability, or family status. Persons wishing to express their concerns relative to FDOT compliance with Title VI may do so by contacting FDOT District 4 Title VI Coordinator Sharon Singh Hagian or State Title VI Coordinator Stefan Kulakowski. We are now on slide 11. There are multiple ways to submit written comments and questions. You can submit your comment or question online using GoToWebinar online at the project website shown on the right side of the slide, by email or by U.S. mail to Project Manager Leslie Wetherell. Leslie contact information is shown on the right side of slide 11. We are now on slide 12. You can also make verbal or spoken comments. Online participants that requested to speak will be called upon during the question and answer period of this public meeting. If you did not request to speak earlier or wish to speak, use the raise hand button on GoToWebinar control panel during the public comment period. When your name is called, you will need to unmute yourself on the GoToWebinar control panel before speaking. Also, you can call the project manager at 954-777-4438 to provide verbal comments during normal business hours after the virtual public meeting. We are now on slide 13. If you have additional comments or questions after this public meeting, please submit them by Tuesday, February 14, 2023. Slide 14. At this time, I will hand the presentation over to Brantley Schuling from CTS Engineering, the engineer of record for this project.
Thank you, Leila. We are now on slide number 15. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Brantley Schuling, and I'm the engineer of record for this project. This slide shows the project limits along State Road 68 on Orange Avenue in St. Lucie County. The project begins just east of the intersection with 32nd Street and ends just west of the intersection with State Road 5 or US 1. Next slide, please. Okay. We are now on slide number 16, where we will give an overview of the main items within the project scope. So the project includes repaving and reconstructing existing pavement, installing traffic signal backplates for increased visibility of signal lights, upgrading vehicle detection at the signalized intersections of 5th and 7th Streets, retrofitting pedestrian lighting at all signalized intersections, adding bicycle markings, upgrading pavement markings, signs, and pedestrian signals. We're also adding a new marked pedestrian crossing just west of 8th Street. And working collaboratively with the city, parking spots were reviewed and only a nominal number of parking spots are being removed related to safety concerns. Next slide, please. We are now on slide number 17, which covers the project schedule and cost. So the construction start is anticipated to begin in spring of 2024, with construction completion in the spring of 2026. And the estimated construction cost is $4 million. We are now on slide number 18, and we'll now go over the key aspects of the project design plans. Firstly, we will cover the existing and proposed roadway sections, and then we'll show some examples of proposed improvements. We are now on slide number 19, and it is showing the existing roadway section along State Road 68 from North 32nd Street to North 13th Street. This section of 68 has two 11-foot wide eastbound lanes, two 11-foot wide westbound lanes, one 11-foot wide centered two-way left turn lanes, and there are 3-foot paved shoulders in both directions. And there are also sidewalks on either side of the roadway. We are now on slide number 20, and this is showing the proposed roadway typical for the section between 32nd Street and 13th Street. The proposed section will retain the 11-foot centered two-way left turn lane. The inside eastbound and westbound lanes will each be reduced from 11 feet to 10 feet, which will give room to increase the shoulder widths to 4 feet and allow us to mark them with bike lane symbols. We are now on slide number 21, and this is showing the existing roadway section from 13th Street to US 1. So this section of State Road 68 has a divided roadway with 10.5 to 11-foot lanes in both the eastbound and westbound directions. This section of State Road 68 also has 8-foot parking, on-street parking lanes on both sides of the roadway. There's curb and gutter on both sides of the roadway along this section, and also existing 6-foot to 21-foot wide sidewalks. We are now on slide number 22, and we'll show the proposed roadway typical for the section from 13th Street to US 1. The proposed section will retain the same existing typical section width for all the features. Sharrows will be installed on the travel lanes in both directions. Next slide, please. Thank you. We are now on slide number 23, showing the proposed lighting and signalization improvements. The image on the left shows an example of what the increased lighting levels would look like, and this will be done to all signalized intersections within the project. The image on the right is showing the updated pedestrian signal push button detectors, along with signage giving instructions to pedestrians on how to operate the signals. We are now on slide number 24, showing some more of the signalization improvements. The image on the left shows backplates installed on signal heads to improve their visibility. The image on the right shows video detection cameras that will be installed at 5th and 7th Streets. These cameras are for signals to detect when vehicles are stopped at the light. We are now on slide number 25. And here we are showing an example of the proposed sharrows, which are to be installed along the travel lanes on the 2-lane section of State Road 68 between 13th Street and US 1. We are now on slide number 26, and we're showing here some of the proposed pedestrian improvements. Again, working collaboratively with the City of Fort Pierce, we are proposing brick paver detectable warnings and high emphasis crosswalks with patterned pavement between 13th Street and US 1. That's the area approaching the downtown area of Fort Pierce. Now, west of 13th Street, we will also have detectable warning mats and high emphasis crosswalks, although they will not have the patterning or the architectural brick pavers inside of them. We are now on slide number 27, showing the location and style of the new pedestrian crossing. The new crossing will be located just west of 8th Street near the Papa's Meat Market. It will be a rectangular rapid flashing beacon, also known as RRFB system, that will have pedestrian crossing signs and flashing yellow lights that can be activated by pedestrians wanting to cross State Road 68. We are now on slide number 28, and we'll now go into the discussion of the maintenance of traffic plans, which describe the conditions you expect to see during construction. We are now on slide number 29, and we'll list some of the key considerations in our maintenance of traffic plan. Work will be done in phases to reduce the impacts of construction in the community. The regulatory speed established within the work zone will be 35 miles per hour from 32nd Street to 13th Street and 25 miles per hour from 13th Street to US 1. Temporary lane closures will occur during non-peak hours to minimize impacts on traffic. Detours will be needed between 13th Street and US 1 and are limited to Sunday to Thursday nights from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. Paving activities will be performed at night. Access to residents and businesses will be maintained at all times during construction. We are now on slide number 30. And here we are showing the roadway sections and the areas being worked on during each phase of construction. So the top half of the screen is showing the work we'll be doing during phase 1. On the top left, it shows that we'll be working on the outside lanes and sidewalk areas between 32nd Street and 13th Street. On the top right, it shows that we'll be working on the eastbound lanes and sidewalk areas between 13th Street and US 1. This work will require a detour for eastbound traffic, which we will show in an upcoming slide. Now the bottom half of the screen is showing phase 2 work. On the bottom left, it shows that we'll be working on the inside lanes and the center left turning lane areas between 32nd Street and 13th Street. On the bottom right, it shows that we'll be working on the westbound lanes and sidewalk areas between 13th Street and US 1. This work will also require a detour for westbound traffic, which we will show details for on the next slide. We are now on slide number 31, where we will walk through the detour plans needed for work on State Road 68 on Orange Avenue between 13th Street and US 1. So the left side of the slide is showing the proposed detour for when the eastbound lane is closed between 13th and US 1. In this case, eastbound traffic will be detoured south along 13th Street, then east along Delaware Avenue, then north along US 1 to get back to eastbound State Road 68. The right side of the slide is showing the proposed detour route for when the westbound lane is closed between 13th and US 1. Due to heavy traffic along US 1, detour signage will be set up to account for both westbound traffic along State Road 68 and also traffic from US 1 intending to head west along State Road 68. So westbound State Road 68 traffic will be detoured north along US 1, then west along Avenue D, then south along 13th Street, in order to get back to westbound State Road 68 or Orange Avenue. Traffic traveling along US 1 intending to head westbound on State Road 68 will be detoured either along Delaware Avenue or Avenue D, then onto 13th Street in order to get back to State Road 68 westbound. We are now on slide number 32, and this concludes the formal presentation, and we will now be open for questions and answers. Layla will provide some additional details.
Thank you, Brent. At this time, we welcome any elected officials who may have joined us late and we did not get an opportunity to acknowledge you, or any elected officials with any questions or comments. We ask that you utilize the raise hand feature so that we may unmute you and allow you the opportunity to introduce yourself and ask your question or provide your comment. So it does not appear that we have any elected officials online at this time. So attendees are welcome to ask a question or provide a comment by utilizing the question panel or raise hand button on the GoToWebinar control panel. Once your microphone is unmuted, please provide your full name first and then your question/comment. Your microphone will remain unmuted until the question/comment has been fully addressed. If your question is not responded to during this event, a response will be provided in writing following the public meeting. We are officially open for questions.
So I don't see any questions in the chat box or question box.
Just see Selena and John online.
Let's see if it's okay, we can probably go through some commonly asked questions or things that we think, may encourage some discussion or even answer some questions that people may have who might not have been able to attend.
Sure, I think that's a great idea. Why don't we go through those? Layla, would you mind asking them? And Brent,
Sure.
you and I can assist with
Yes.
answering.
Yes, yes, we have some questions here that could possibly come up. So first question, how many parking spots are you planning to remove?
Okay, so only a nominal amount of spots. We identified 8 spots of the existing 114 parking spots between 13th Street and US 1 that will need to be removed based on, we looked at crash history and types of crashes, sort of made a determination that there's a sight distance issue at those locations. So again, it's only a nominal amount, 8 out of the 114 existing.
Thanks, Brent. Question number 2, can the bike lanes be increased to 7 feet?
So due to the restricted right-of-way, we are unable to increase the width of the bicycle lanes. It is because for much of the project, we have curb and gutter on the edge of the outside lanes. Then there's sidewalk immediately adjacent, and then the right-of-way ends right at the back of sidewalk. So in order to add increased width to the bicycle lanes, we will have to acquire right-of-way, and that's not something that is part of this project.
That's a good point, Brent. And just to add, as we showed in the typical section slides, we were able to work within the constraints of the right-of-way to provide bike lane markings within the first half of the corridor from 32nd to 13th, and from 13th to US 1, we are also able to add the sharrows to the roadway as well. So while we weren't able to add 7-foot bike lanes, we are able to add bicycle markings to accommodate all modes of transportation along the corridor and ensure the traveling public understands where they can utilize the roadway, the sidewalk today. So great news that we can do it that way.
Thanks, Leslie. Question number 3, are you taking any right-of-way on the project?
No, no right-of-way is being acquired for this project. All work will be done within the existing right-of-way.
Thank you. Question number 4, during the detours, will parking and driveways be accessible?
So during the detours, parking will only be available on the direction of traffic that is open. So for example, when westbound Route 68 is closed, all the westbound parking spots will also be closed. Parking will be kept open on the other side of the street. However, during any detour, to answer the other part, accommodations will be made to keep access to businesses and residents on either side of Route 68.
Thank you. Question number 5, are you adding lights to the entire corridor?
No, the lighting improvements are only being done at signalized intersections. The focus is to improve lighting conditions at the pedestrian crosswalks. This is a part of the statewide intersection lighting retrofit effort to basically increase pedestrian safety during nighttime.
Thanks, Brent. Those were all the questions we had. On behalf of the Florida Department of Transportation, thank you for attending this public meeting and providing your input on this project. If you have any additional comments or questions after the public meeting, please submit by Tuesday, February 14, 2023. This is all, and this can conclude our meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.